Hello, everybody. It is August 4th, 2025 at 7 o'clock p.m. EST, and you are watching the Dovecote episode 73 with Moss, aka Moss Dagar, aka Moss Powers. Which of those would you say is the most correct?
Probably Moss Powers or Moss. Either one's whatever,
Awesome.
I just go by Moss in my personal life, but whatever.
Hell yeah. And please introduce yourself, Moss.
Yeah, hi, I'm Moss. I am a queer designer based out of the Pacific Northwest. I design a lot of tabletop games, mostly in the horror space, but I kind of dabble in a lot of stuff. I'm also a longtime GM. I enjoy a lot of things like LARP in my spare time, and in general, I'm, a multifaceted human who does human stuff. That's about it.
Real, yeah. That last one is important because I think that sometimes things can get crushed down in TTRPGs into like the work that we do, the TTRPG work that we do, because we all have that in common.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, you recently had a game through Plus One EXP called Hell Whalers. Right? Or am I incorrect? Yeah.
Well, we had it last year release, and then we're doing an expansion that we just threw up on Backer Kit this year.
Okay. I'm the understander.
You are the understander. But yeah, we did a little bit of a expansion that included some stuff from the original with the crowdfund, so it was kind of like the first big time that it went to crowdfunding. But in general, it was last year's release. This year was like the push to get it more eyes on it and stuff.
Hell yeah!
With the expansion, yeah.
Yeah, I've been really fucking wormed out this past week, or I guess it's been like 2 weeks that I probably got time to look into this more. Could you kind of talk a bit about Hell Whalers? I know a little bit about it just from what I was able to read. Yeah, could you kind of give folks the gist?
Yeah, so Hell Whalers is at its core a religious horror and nautical horror TTRPG. So it focuses a lot on like biblical style hell. You're playing as whalers in hell, like literal fiery hell, but also it's the ocean of hell. You're on what's called the Stygian Sea on a ship. And you're playing these damned whalers who have made a deal with hell itself or some other being or a captain to slay and eat the flesh of a hell whale to earn salvation and their way back out. That's the general gist of it, but it touches on a lot of themes. But it's mostly about religion and whales and how I feel about those things.
Hell yeah. That's very I don't know where you're coming, what angle you're coming at this from, but as a Jewish person, that's very Jewish of you. um,
I have no Jewish affiliation, but I definitely had a strong religious upbringing, and
mhm.
that's since changed a little bit. So I have complex feelings about it. Let's just say.
Yeah, it's definitely very like very Jovic and also obviously like I imagine is there inspiration from the I can't even think of the name of this fucking book, the one that you read in high school, which I
Moby
have not
Dick.
read. Moby Dick. Is there? Yeah, like
Oh, definitely. There's some Moby Dick in there for sure. Moby Dick's a pretty like strongly religious book as well.
mhm.
But I was an English major in college and was a big fan of Moby Dick.
Yeah. What do you think kind of directs you towards that sort of story, like a story um, about kind of this religious drive that leads towards like vengeance against nature.
Um, I think those are kind of two separate issues, sort of. But
Yeah,
like the
fair.
general I was coming at it from a lot of different angles when I kind of concepted the game. But the general gist is that this is my like reckoning with my um, complex feelings about leaving the church as a formerly religious person and now someone that doesn't really reconcile those feelings with being a queer person in a church that kind of told me that I was going to hell forever for those things. Um, so this is kind of how I reckon with that fear and that general like anxiety and what I was being told about those things. And now it's found some resonance with some other people, but the general like angstiness and like violent turn against nature kind of paired with that is like more of a like a side piece of the horror aspects of how I felt about it, I guess.
Hell yeah. Yeah, there's a yeah, there's a fucking like there's a devotion, right? That you can get like really fucking caught up in.
Right. Yeah. Like I don't know. It was I'm not going to speak too personally about my experience, but in general
Fair.
I had a time where I was pretty strongly religious and a time where I was apathetic about religion, but I still had those like feelings of guilt and shame that came with being a religious person and now experiencing, complex feelings in my life.
Real.
Yeah, so yeah, having to reckon with some of that stuff was this is my like catharsis for that in art form.
Hell yeah. And
Yeah.
then you'd mentioned to me that you are I believe yeah, you mentioned that you were playtesting, playing away at something. I'd love to hear about that as well.
Yeah, I'm kind of branching into some other like games as I do sometimes. I obviously I'm a game designer overall. I haven't just done Hell Whalers, but
Mhm.
I'm working on like a queer, haunted, homoerotic kind of ghost story town in a heat wave kind of thing. Um, about like college age youths that are like figuring out their identity while they're like reckoning with like the hauntings of their town during a massive heat wave. And I'm exploring some like territory with that. I'm doing some play tests with my partner mostly, and then I'm opening those to some friends soon. And then we'll get that rolling out. But kind of working on some of that. Also play testing various things from my backlog at any given time, but that's the big one I'm kind of brainwormed on at the moment.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. You'll have to forgive me for hooking on to this immediately, but it just intrigues me. Um, so you mentioned playtesting with your partner and then moving on to friends. Is that a common like playtesting model for you? Do you start with like people who are kind of closer to you?
I tend to do like closed playtests with a lot of people. I hadn't previously playtested most material with my partner, but this is one that I felt was like benefited from their eye on it. Um, but in general, I try to keep my playtests like small, close to the chest for a little bit, and then once I feel comfortable with what I'm doing with them, I kind of open them to broader spaces as it kind of feels more appropriate.
Neat. I think that's I think that's very respectable as someone who tends to kind of just fucking whore out when it comes to when I have a new game that I want to play test. Um,
Yeah,
and I
no
was
shame on
also
that model.
Yeah, it's different strokes. Um, and then I what was I gonna ask about? Oh yeah, the kind of combination of like heat waves and ghosts is really fun. The like the melting of things that
Right.
bones coming back up from fucking things being burnt away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
have a
really
line
neat.
in some of the I have a line in some of the like intro text of it of like it's so hot that the ghost can't sleep either. Stuff
Oh,
like
that's
that.
really
It's like
good. Fuck, it's really good. Hell yeah.
yeah.
Um, and then I
It was kind of
also, oh sorry.
oh no, I was just saying it was kind of incepted by the fact that it's been really hot here for summer.
Yeah, real. It's been a scorcher over here as well. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. And then I also wanted to ask, are there any of your games that we haven't talked about, or we haven't talked about here, that you really think folks should like check out?
I'm always like a big fan of some of my backlog stuff, but it really depends on what people are looking for. I think I have a pretty existential catalog at the end of the day. A lot of my stuff is kind of experimental in that front, but my favorite artistically, I always want to plug is Killing Time. It's a duet game, so it's for two people. One player plays as Father Time, the literal incarnation of time, and the other player plays a foolish hero destined to kill them.
Oh, that's fun.
Um, so it's about a lot of things, but at the end of the day, it's about mortality and death, and it's played with a live timer across 4 seasons that all play a little bit differently. So you have 40-minute segments that all like run a clock through that 40 minutes. And by the end of it, you have 160 minutes plus a little time for breaks. So it's about a 3-hour run. But it's pretty intense when you play it all the way through.
Hell yeah, that sounds really cool. I yeah, that's neat. It is kind of funny because I had in a recent episode I had Gia Statinary on, who made the game Inventing Time, and so
Mm.
you know one one could play. I don't think this is a good idea, considering Inventing Time already has a companion, but I do think it'd be really
Yeah.
funny to play Inventing Time into Killing Time.
All things must end.
All things must end. Exactly. You gotta make a game called Making Maps now because
Yeah.
GSDNR has destroying maps. Um,
Oh, yeah, that'd be funny.
yeah. Although I think that there are a lot of games about making maps. Anyways, sorry, that's just kind of a silly aside. That game sounds really cool though. I really like the split into 4 seasons. That's really neat. Um,
Yeah, I like the mechanics a lot in it. It's still ash canned, so I don't really have a lot of like art or layout done on it, but it's mostly complete. I think I might retouch a little bit of the fall season, but it's kind of cool because the game kind of falls into abstraction as it goes on. So it starts out you're doing some like prompt work with some tarot cards. All the timers running, you're like physically searching through a deck of cards, finding tarot cards of various types, and then the player playing time will read out like the prompt and have like a quick micro discussion about it, and then you'll request that you find a different card. And you do that 40 times basically in 40 minutes. So you have like a very rapid fire prompt response conversation for the first part. Summer's like a big maximalist JRPG style tactical battle fight on a grid with some like cool boss mechanics. And then in fall, like time has either you have dealt a mortal blow to time or time has dealt a mortal blow to you, and like you're cast into the past and you have to fight your way back through memories and like reflecting on your childhood and stuff. And it's kind of like more a memory game. You play like concentration and do some other stuff with it. And then in winter, everything's kind of fallen all the way to abstraction as the mortal blow has been definitely dealt. And one of you is dying, and you just sit there for 40 minutes and talk prompts about death.
yeah, that's really cool. I love shit that's about fucking like game mechanics that are contending with the with the dissolution of time. That's and then using the system, like having the complexity and the structure of the system kind of reflect that is really neat.
Yeah, I think it's my most like artistic, like high art kind of work, but it's also not for everyone because not everyone wants to sit for 40 minutes at the end of the game and talk about death.
Yeah, real. I listen. I think TTRPGs have a lot of there's a lot of potential to talk about death because they begin and end. I mean, I guess that's true about like all artistic work, but like I think it can be a very personal conversation because you're face to
Right.
face and you're kind of controlling the.
I think TTRPGs provide like a safe simulationist type space for a lot of that stuff,
Hmm.
where we can explore concepts of death without necessarily it being a personal experience.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I think that's valuable.
And I think it's like comparing that to other mediums, like because a movie that's about death necessarily has to feel like dying because you are like experiencing a series of events in a kind of progression. Same with like an album, um,
Right.
but yeah, there's a lot more like space to think and reflect in games. Although the timer that you have in Killing Time definitely like uh you know,
Right.
it adds an element
It
of it.
provides a level of finality. Like when you see the clock ticking down, it can be kind of like, ooh.
Yeah, absolutely. Hell yeah. Well, I'm glad that we got to talk about the game that the game that you were that you're here to promote. Sorry, I really like this is the thing that happens on the Dovecote is we
No,
talk
you're
about
good.
silly stuff. Although I mean the crowdfunder for Book of Leviathan is over already, so uh,
Yeah.
I
I'm,
could.
we can just talk about whatever, but Book of Leviathan did really well. That's another, like, the general Hellwhaler stuff can be a little existential too, but um, it's not really like as high, like, immersion in terms of like the death part of it. It's more like fantasy, like campy horror kind of stuff about death.
Yeah, that makes sense. Mossy Kid says, I definitely recall someone merrily talking about how much fun they had playtesting Killing Time with Big Bad. Hell yeah. Okay, now
Yeah,
here's the thing.
I played tested it with a couple people, and apparently it was a pretty good hit, so that's nice.
Hell yeah. We need to. One, I really want to get Mossy Kid on the stream one of these days. Mossy, hit me up. We might have already talked about this, and I just forgot to fucking respond to things. I don't remember. But so I keep joking about the fucking Aarons. We need to have Aaron King, Aaron Lim, Aaron Voigt. Is there another Aaron that I'm not thinking of right now? Um,
There probably are a few. I'm guessing it's
he,
an uncommon name.
Lim, Voigt, King. Uh, I don't
Those are
know.
the three that come to mind.
Yeah, those are the three that come to mind for me as well. But I'm like, what if we
Apologies
did?
to any errands we're forgetting.
Can we got to do a Moss stream? Are there any other Mosses in TTRPGs? Is there like a third Moss that
Oh,
we could?
certainly. There's gotta be.
We'll see if we can find a third TTRPG designer called Moss, and we'll do like those in a series. We'll do
Right.
the Moss coat, and we'll do the Aaron coat.
I love it.
Yeah, that's good. Um, Oh God! Now I'm just remembering things. Speaking of cons, I'm pretty sure we met at PAX U, and I was like clipping through the wall a bit. So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
I was heavily exhausted last PAX U, and I was just like dissociating that whole time.
yeah, yeah. That's funny. Um,
My flight got delayed, and I was like taking forever to get there. And by the time I got in, I
uh,
was like, I had to run into jump into some games, and it was just the whole thing was a blur.
yeah, that's fucked up. Well, I personally was fucking crossfaded on like three three sour beers and like a couple hits of weed at that point. So I
Mhm.
was I was kind of in another dimension. I was like singing to Lilith that entire night. Um,
Right.
yeah.
I was trying to catch up to everyone. I just felt like I had a different wavelength that whole time.
Sometimes it's like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I it can be really hard being like exhausted at a con because
Right. It
everyone's
doesn't help that
there. Sorry.
I'm West Coast, and it's a whole trek to get to PAX.
Hmm. Yeah. Were you a big bad con this past year?
I was not at Big Bad. I almost went, and then the situation with some of that was uncertain for a little bit, and then I
Real.
decided to drop out. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I wound up because I got the I got a what do you call it scholarship, so I wound up
Hmm.
going after things kinda resolved a little bit. Things slightly cooled
Yeah.
down, but
Hmm.
yeah, it's a
Yeah. I
shame
had
they're
my
not doing
tickets.
it.
I had a plane ticket and everything, but I had to drop out of that just because it was uncertain. Didn't want to, you know.
Yeah, real. Yeah. Alrighty. Uh, brain. Oh yeah, I should ask my like normal questions. So I've asked my question. I've asked what you're working on.
Mhm.
Have you been playing anything recently that you'd like to talk about?
I'm trying to think of what I played most recently that wasn't just playtesting my own stuff. Um, I'm due upcoming for a sleepaway playthrough because I play that every year for
Oh,
Halloween.
oh, that's fun.
Um, love Sleepaway. Big influence on a lot of things, including Hellwhalers. The playbooks
Mhm.
are almost directly lifted from that. I'm trying to think of what I've played recently though. I think I did. There was this weird. I don't. Apologies for to the creator for forgetting the name, but there was a little game about like a parasite that I was playing with my partner not too long
Oh.
ago.
Mhm.
It's like a shorter zine game, but you one of you plays as like a parasite infecting the other. It was pretty body horror. It was fun.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, it was the right kind of squicky, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hell yeah.
I'm a big horror fan, so a lot of that stuff was really fun.
Yeah, I've
I
noticed.
did I did a workers' rights night for like games that I did recently, and we played back
Ooh.
to back. We played The Price of Coal, which I love. Jennifer Adcock. Price of Coal is great. You're playing as like coal miners and their loved ones during like the Battle of Blair Mountain or the events that lead up to it. So it's like a labor rights kind of historical game. It's really good. We played that
Sounds
and then
sick.
followed it up with um, oh shoot, what is that game called? I'm struggling to remember it now. You, anyway, it's a another little like kind of sillier game, but you play. We're using a Let's Go Fishing game. I can't remember the name
Okay.
of it at the moment, but it simulates like the factory machinery, and it's like constantly grinding, and you have to like fish while you're like organizing union meetings with cards.
Oh, I
So you're
wonder
like
if
still
that's.
getting the work done. I can't remember the name of it at the moment. It's escaping me.
Yeah, I almost kind of wonder if that's someone inspired by. There is a mini game in What Remains of Edith Finch, the walking simulator. I hate using that word, but it is like a pretty
Right.
good reflection, where you're a factory worker, like cutting the heads off of fish, um,
Hmm.
and so you do that with one joystick, and then on the other joystick, you are fantasizing about like adventures in a mythical land, and like
Oh, cool.
the two slowly cross over, where the adventures in the mythical land slowly become more fish-like, um,
Mm,
and the eventually the fantasy takes over the cutting of the fish
mhm.
for the most part, but there is a point where you uh, I believe it's like you become like the person the worker fantasizes about becoming king, and then fantasizes about like being beheaded, um,
Oh,
and
wow.
the like implication is that
Mhm.
in their like deep fantasies, this person like put their neck under the like fish chopping machine. Um,
Oh boy.
yeah. Well, the thing about What Remains of Edith Finch is it's a game about how all of this person's siblings died, um,
Okay.
or like how all their family members died. So that is, that's part of that.
Yeah.
Good
It's
game, but I was just reminded
it
of
sounds
that.
like a pretty intense lead up.
Yeah, it's definitely intense. But I was just having that like one mode of
Mm-hmm.
interaction with another mode of interaction that are kind of in in kind of synchronicity, especially being a factory. I was just kind of reminded of
Yeah.
that.
And a fish factory, no less. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Cool.
But yeah, we did that for like a labor rights themed night. And then what else have I played recently? I don't really know. It's hard to find time to play things outside of my standard play tests for my own stuff sometimes.
Real. Do you have a consistent group that you do stuff with?
Um, I don't really have like a ton, but I have like 3 or 4 friends that I kind of rotate in for my regular like groups playtests and regular like games that I try to organize. And then occasionally I'll invite another couple people. I have like a pretty strong community up here because of the LARP scene that I'm in.
Okay.
So it's a
Neat.
lot of LARPers.
Hell yeah. I've been getting a little bit into I have not played in a LARP yet, but I I have
Mm,
plans to play in a lot of LARPs in about November's time.
nice, that's
Gonna,
cool.
yeah, I'm gonna be at Nauticon and gonna be at one of the monstrosity runs, which is like
Nice.
a erotic vampire LARP, and
Mhm.
yeah. What sort of LARPs do you do? I'm curious.
So I'm involved in a combat LARP organization. It's Belgrade Medieval Combat Society, but I don't really do the physical fighting anymore.
Okay.
So I'm just involved in the community, the nightlife, the like storytelling aspects. I do a lot of the like in character stuff that not a lot of people do in that game because it's kind of roleplay optional typically.
Neat.
But I'm one of the people that does do a lot of the roleplay and storytelling and writing and for the world lore. And I also organize one of the larger events on the West Coast. In the Pacific Northwest, it's one of the larger for sure, called Western Wars. I'm the nightlife coordinator for that typically. Yeah, but I've been involved in that community for 15 years now. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Um, I'm curious, like, because I've been, I so in and I'm just gonna say this because I'm pretty sure uh I won't get banned for it after saying this like 32 times at this point. In Faggot Games 2, I mentioned that like there are a lot of conversations about safety in LARP communities, and I was very quickly corrected like in some LARP communities. Um,
Right. Yeah.
and so I'm kind of curious, like, what is it like bringing kind of an indie TTRPG designer sensibility to the kind of fiction side of a combat LARP?
Um, I think it comes in a little differently. Those are two like different headspaces for me. Um, I think of my like GM side from tabletop as closer.
Okay.
Because I'm not really designing game stuff at that point, which is where I really think of my game design work. I have a very mechanical brain for game design. And I try to marry that to story and stuff. But at the end of the day, when I'm writing stories for LARP, I feel like it's very fiction, like writing and collaborative world building and all that stuff, which comes from like GMing typically, um, but not necessarily from the game design aspects because it is more collaborative at the end of the day. Like it needs feedback from the people you're engaging with.
Yeah. Are you finding that like, or have you found that folks are like interested in kind of engaging and providing that sort of kind of
Uh,
in play feedback?
it's hit or miss. I find that the group that I write for typically is a very small fraction of a fraction of a fraction. So at the end of the day, we have an organization that's in the thousands, but like of those, maybe 20% engage in the role play, and of that 20%, maybe 10% engage in the kind of role play that I role play with, and of that 10%, maybe another 50% of those actually care about the stuff that I'm writing or are aware of it. So it's a pretty small fraction of a fraction of a fraction that actually like engages with anything I write, but it's still I'm in the space where I do write a lot of it for the country functionally, but it is a small engagement level with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. I I mean I think that's kind of true. Uh, you know, like I almost feel like a LARP like that has to be kind of a microcosm of like what it's like to fucking make make art for like a broader audience, because it's you know
Right. It's a smaller community at the end of the day, so everything that is niche is further nicheified.
yeah, that's real. Um,
Yeah.
hell yeah. And are there any games that folks are working on or that are coming out in the near future that you're excited for?
I'm getting like stoked about Dragon Reactor. That's one that I
Oh
keep
hell
hearing
yeah.
good things about. I need to check out the actual playtest stuff, but it's got me excited about mechs in a way that I haven't in a long time. Not usually like a big mech freak, but sometimes it hits. So it looks like this will do the job for me. There's something like with mechs that it's very like um, intimate, but it also in like a very detached way, and I think that's a really fascinating space to like explore.
Yeah,
Um,
I
it
sorry.
also reckoning with violence in the same way is really fascinating.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating not to not to shit on Lancer, but to shit on Lancer a little bit. I think it's fascinating that like the biggest, most popular mech game in TTRPGs right now uh,
Hmm.
is one that is like not really interested in mech the genre, if that makes sense. Like it is mostly
Right.
interested in
Yeah.
mech the physical object that kills people.
Right. It's the violence power fantasy of mechs. It's not the reckoning of like body and bigger body joined together. It's not the reckoning of any of the like suit and its wheeler kind of stuff. It's not any interest in that stuff.
Yeah, not interested in like being a kid and seeing your like your friend on the other side of the battlefield. Not interested in the
Right.
ways that like adults and children or like adults might manipulate children towards their ends and put them in
Yeah.
harm's way.
Uh,
Like it's God
yeah, the
bless
child
everybody
soldiers
who
angle
likes
is
it.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah,
There's a lot to be said in the mech genre that's very political, and I think Lancer doesn't really touch into any of that.
yeah. The politics that are there are fucking incomprehensible.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure Lancer is a great enough game mechanically, but it doesn't hit the same themes that I'm really looking for when I'm looking at mech stuff.
Yeah, same here. What is a person who didn't make Dragon Reactor? Can you pitch me on Dragon Reactor?
As far as I understand it, Dragon Reactor is like mythopoetic mech fantasy in like the sci-fi universe where there's like the general concept is that um, as I keep gravitating towards the quote that they mentioned in the interview, but Dennebury Press was saying a Gundam can be a metaphor for a nuclear weapon in the same way that a dragon is a metaphor for a nuclear weapon.
uh,
And in that sense, like a mech is the dragon in that world, in that universe, because it's something unfathomably powerful that like has scale beyond armies and is just like a horrible weapon of destruction, but also it's like reckoning with a lot of other stuff. There's some really cool stuff that it touches on in terms of like war and struggle of like the terrible cost of war and like what all that means and the violence of like the uncertainty of violence and all that. Seems really fascinating. As a primarily nonviolent person, it's I don't know why that clicks in my brain, but for some reason, like war makes me sad, obviously, because war is bad. um, but it's like that's one of those things that I try not to think about a lot, but when I do think about it, there's some powerful emotions that can come with it, right?
yeah, I agree. As someone who's deeply anti-war as well, like I think it is important to like explore it through art and understand understand kind of the emotions attached to it. I absolutely agree. Um,
Yeah,
this looks sick. I hear the word mythopoetic and I'm activated. So uh,
right. Yeah,
I'll
like
be
the scale
following
of like
this.
bardic legends about these giant mechs and stuff. Really cool.
Yeah, God bless you, Lilith. It's okay. Um, it's also a really cheap scene, which is sick. Good for
Yeah,
them.
we love that.
Yeah. Um, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other things I might be stoked on that are coming up. Let's see. I'm struggling to think right now. I'm excited to get a couple things that I backed on like various crowd funds, waiting for it to come through. Uh, oh shit, I'm so bad at names today for games. But the More Blueberries Elliot Davis game with the zombie door.
Yeah.
I backed it. I can't remember the name of it at the moment. But
Door
blanking on it.
Super Door Brothers. No, let me
Super Door Brothers 2 Zombie Boogaloo.
just looking up More Blueberries Door Brothers zombie game. The time we have.
The time we have, thank you.
Yes.
I'm really excited to get that copy. That was one I backed a little while ago. I want to play with my best friend and see how that goes. Really stoked. I just got my copy of Little Wolves, also from Dinoberry Press. I have to dig into that one. Let's see what else is coming up. Yeah, I'm sure there's more, but I'm blanking at the moment.
Hell yeah. Games are so cool.
My brain, I know, my brain thinks like maybe a day ahead, maybe, and that's if I'm lucky. So hard to future sight any things that are coming up.
Oh, my fucking birds. I failed my birds again. Alright, hang on. Only Cordis the interview bird should be here. Dino very sweet. So true. Or sorry, only Intro the interview bird, but I think we may bring in Cordis the news bird. And perhaps go through our news and then take a little break and then get to the mail.
Yeah.
You can send me beautiful mail at darlingdemoneclipse@gmail.com. Send that over. Show it to me. Yeah. Cordis the newsbird coming in. What's a nice... Coming in from the Ennies reward ceremony. Got a little fucking like cocktail and you know, maybe a trophy of her own. Who knows? All right. So I'm sure it's crazy that I had Sage the Anagogue on and then this happened, but we're rolling with the punches. We gotta talk about itch.io, which I have not done on the fucking show yet.
Right, the big elephant here.
Yeah, so all this shit happened when I was streaming. I was streaming a video game. I was streaming Dungeons, Blood, and Dream, and I kind of talked about it a bit then. I was kind of in shock. A large amount of my games were de-indexed. And then one of mine, if you want to actually look, Don't Test My Love was fully suspended. And if you look at this, I'll pull up like an incognito tab so I can show you all this. Because this is how it looks on my end with like the art still intact and shit. But if you look on
like the viewer end,
this is what it looks like.
Oh wow,
it's
just been blocked.
Yeah.
Dang.
And then there's the notice. Your account is in violation of our adult content policy listed here. We don't allow hosting of blah 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 blah. You probably have all heard all this stuff by now. But yeah. Let's
aside from like
oh sorry.
I was gonna say, aside from infuriating, I don't really know how to feel about any of this. Like, aside from we need to make sure this doesn't happen, right?
Yeah. I should probably have that up too. So I kind of want to talk about timeline because I think it's important. I also want to talk a bit about some kind of misconceptions because I think that there's been a lot of misinformation on this subject.
Of course, yeah.
So July 24th, we get this. I believe it was July 23rd that stuff was initially delisted and suspended. This basically describes, they de-indexed. It's explaining the collective shout payment processor situation. For those who don't know, I'll give a general summary of what happened. A variety of games broadly on itch.io were fully taken down, aka suspended, which is what happened to my game Don't Test My Love, meaning that you cannot download them unless you've already bought them, and you cannot buy them, and I can download them, but you cannot. I can download them, but you cannot buy them, basically. And people who've already bought them can download them. far more games, games that were tagged with things like NSFW and 18 plus and adult and furry and LGBTQ were delisted, meaning that you cannot search for them. Um, a vast the wide majority of games that were suspended had themes of incest mentioned somewhere on their page. For example, Don't Test My Love did at one point include an incest content warning, which I removed, but it's it's a little too late. Um, and yeah. Another game that is down is Praise the Hawkmoth King, which is a really really good game. A game that has been like kind of spoken of positively in a lot of different spaces, and is now like unavailable until well until Luck of the Harbor figures out how to make it available. But and then the other thing that I want to mention that's a common misconception is specifically the video game mouthwashing was not suspended or delisted due to this NSFW content thing. It was already suspended and delisted because it did not qualify for the like generic requirements for itch.io, aka it was a placeholder page. It was a placeholder page that was basically in place, basically saying go to Steam, and itch did not want that, so they shuttered it. With all those misconceptions out of the way, with those clarifications out of the way, so on the 24th, all these games were, that they announced that the games were de-indexed. They talked a bit about why everything happened. Let's see. There was some weirdness with payments, but I don't think any of that. Payouts are always weird with fucking itch, but
Yeah. I had a payment in progress when that news broke, and it luckily went through in time, but I was worried for a little bit. But itch is always hit or miss with that kind of stuff.
Definitely. And then they re-indexed adult content, so they re-indexed free adult not safe for work content. This did not mean that they unsuspended free not safe for work NSFW content. I don't know why I said NSFW not safe for work. I'm a little scattered today. But yeah, so a lot of games are still not available at all. In fact, they suspended Hawkmoth King after making this announcement. I think people should be aware of that. Like, this has not been won yet in any meaningful way. Stripe has been a significant limiter for them fixing the situation, and yeah, it's a mess.
Yeah, and I guess to follow on with the explanation for those that weren't caught up, it is a group of censorship activists, or whatever you want to call them, extremists, that are pushing for payment processors to delist this adult content or LGBTQ content in general, because they worry that it's corrupting children or whatever. So
yeah, I want to read something from my blog, just because I feel like this is kind of my position on this, and I think it's useful to just read it out. Yeah, I'll read both these paragraphs. To me, with faggot games is the art of being honest about what gets you off, especially the stuff that the world despises. The fag lattice depends on all of us being naked in our work, because when Puritans come for our work, we won't be alone. ABDL, incest, arroguro, degradation, non-consent, whatever you're the most scared of putting into the world, put that into your faggot game. We have to all protect each other by all being perverts. This is especially true now. Flood itch with your fetish, don't include NSFW or whatever else in the tags, and make more art than they can reasonably filter for the really cool stuff. The lattice grows stronger when they cannot tell what is honey and what is air. Don't tag your shit. Don't use content warnings. Like, that is, if those are the battle lines that they have set up for us, then we have to, like, we have to fight on that line. I feel like personally.
Right, and it sucks to not have to use those, but like at the end of the day, it's so important to make sure that we're not restricting content, and people should have a general idea of what they're getting into at specific games anyway. But in typical like fashion of stuff like this, it's like we got to make sure that we have solidarity with like making sure it's all, this is a very important fight, and we got to fight for what's right here.
Yeah, like if someone winds up buying porn, they just have to be okay with it.
Right.
Sorry
Yeah.
to say it. But like
Yeah.
I do think like you should have content warnings in your book, like in a safety section, saying like this game contains X, Y, and Z. I just don't think you should be having a big list of CWs on your page.
Right. Nothing that's going to be searchable and filterable and bannable by that.
Yeah. As a person who has been pretty supportive of content warnings writ large, I still feel very strongly about this. This is not an opportunity for me to fucking gleefully be like, haha, you fools, you used content warnings. Like, I think that they've generally been pretty helpful. But, I think for now, it's worthwhile to be more protective about what your shit is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. You want to talk about the Ennies?
Sure. Yeah, that just happened.
Yeah, and then we'll take a little break. So let me control F winner just so that I have an easier time because they didn't really like do different font colors. And I have eye shit, and I hate. Okay, this. Why the orange on white? It's like really bad. In fact, I'm taking out my
pretty egregious.
I'm getting out my contrast analyzer. I have this tool called a CCA color contrast analyzer that I have on my computer, which I can use
for accessibility checks.
Yeah, it's so useful. I use it on my games. I use it on other people's games to their chagrin.
Yeah.
I'm constantly using it on things that my friend Crowley sends that I cannot read because my eyes don't work very good. Yeah, so this hang on, I'll literally put it on stream. Is there a way that I can do that easily? We're doing fucking live stream design. All right, here we go. CCA. Okay, so as you can see, this is my color contrast analyzer, and what this shows, you see the foreground color is this orange, and the background color is this white. So it does not pass the 1.4.3 contrast minimum for AA. It does not pass the 1.4.6 contrast enhanced for AAA, and it does not pass the 1.4.11 non-text contrast for AA.
Not accessibly designed.
Yeah, so the Ennies, I hate my job. If you want to hire someone who can do website design, just hit me up. Stupid. But yeah, that aside, enough teasing the fucking Ennies. So judges spotlight winners. Punk is dead. A post-apocalyptic. I mean, we're not gonna read through all these, but I want to highlight winners that are things that I know because that's kind of how it has to be.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of Mothership Companion app virtual tabletop. That's a good one. I've heard good things about that tool. I know there's a lot of Triangle Agency.
Yeah, I was stoked to see that. Well earned.
Zeeb. I've heard good things about Mythic Bastion Land. That one seems cool.
Seems pretty hot right now, yeah.
Yeah. Someone was asking me to play Pendragon with them, and I don't remember who it was, and I should probably get back to them. Because I don't recall, or maybe they were just like doing a general. Oh, I know who it was. It was Emmy. Okay, I remember everything now. Best cartography is kind of awesome. That's a fun. I hope Sapphic.
I like that that's a category.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. More Zeeb. I do quite like Zeeb. His Majesty.
I saw. Right, yeah, Worm, yeah.
Fucking
Worm game.
Worm. Love Worm. Land of Eam. I don't know Land of
Yeah.
Eden, but I like the name.
I keep hearing good things about it. It's probably good.
Yeah. Prismatic Wasteland blog. Cool. Good for
Love that. Yeah.
yeah. Mothership Deluxe set. Okay.
Hmm.
Uh bu- 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 His Majesty the Worm again. Triangle Agency again.
Yeah.
Some good writing from this side of the scene this year.
Hmm.
So you love to see it.
Yeah. It's
What
always
else?
good when I see a lot of stuff I recognize, but it's also good when I see a lot of stuff I don't recognize because it shows that the scene isn't so homogenous.
Yeah, I agree. Um, Another Mythic Bastion Land. I've seen that Mythic Bastion Land box set. It does look kind of fancy. Uh,
Hmm.
is there anything here that I have not highlighted that you'd like to highlight?
I was real stoked to see Mask Witches of Doggerland. I think got a silver, maybe.
Let's see. It's probably
I
somewhere on here.
thought
It got a Best Art Interior nomination. I don't think it got a.
nomination. Oh, I didn't get an any. Oh,
Yeah.
well, it was nominated, which is still a huge accomplishment. But I was stoked to see that one in. Zephyr, I was also stoked to see it nominated. Unfortunately, no any for either. But
Oh yeah. Yeah. Neat.
stoked to see those games up there. Some other good names in there for sure, but stoked to see like Triangle Agency and stuff, and Zeeb and Worm get some any recognition. That's always fantastic.
Yeah. Agreed. I was running Zabas at Gen Con, so the two silvers were gratifying. Triangle Agency and Mythic Bastion Land were definitely the gorillas in the room. I really like the term the gorillas in the room. That's pretty awesome. Fuck yes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna take like how's like a 5-minute break.
Yeah, works for me.
All right. Send an email to darlingdemonclips@gmail.com. Send your questions for me and Moss about Hell Whalers or Killing Time or the game about ghosts and Heatwave or itch.io or the Ennies or
For anything.
anything. All right. I'll see you all in a bit. Bye bye. everybody. We're back with more Dovecote, with Moss. I have not
Bubble
received
bubble
any.
back.
Yeah, I've not received any mail yet. But I will accept any slash all questions that you provide in the chat. I will first ask, however, Moss, is there anything that you would like to talk about that we have not discussed on the show that's digging in your brain, or anything that
Uh,
we've talked about that you'd like to elaborate on?
uh, I did just wrap up posting a jam for Sinners and Sea Monsters adjacent to the Hellwhaler stuff. That was kind of cool. We got a lot of entries. I was pleasantly surprised on the amount of activity on it. So go ahead and check out some of those games for the Sinners and Sea Monsters jam. I'll try to post some of the entries soon, but I'll reblog a bunch of that stuff on my Blue Sky.
Hell yeah, that sounds sick. Running jams is always fun. I did my first one this year, which was the Fag Jam, and that was cool. It's always interesting seeing like how people interpreted the
Yeah,
the vibe you're going for.
I feel like I'm never struggling for ideas. I'm always struggling to manage my backlog, so I never enter jam, unfortunately.
Sorry, you cut out a bit there. What was that?
Oh, I was saying I never struggle for like ideas, but I always struggle for like time to manage them, so I rarely enter jams.
Yeah, that's real. I feel similarly. I keep having new game ideas. I've had like two in 2 weeks, and it's become dangerous because I have like 3 games that I need to work on. Uh,
Yeah, I have a small backlog right now.
yeah, it's tough. I have games that like people paid me for that I need to finish. Or I have a game that people paid me
Oh
for that I need to
no.
finish. Dracotrification. Um, okay, here we go. Hey Moss, if someone wanted to submit a pitch to write or develop content for Hell Whalers, where might they request to swear pact for a hellish sum?
This looks like a clever allusion to the do have. It is a grant that we managed to get with the extra funding from the backer kit. We have a $666 fund that you can apply for at ttrpg.link slash Amber Grant, I believe.
Could you send me that link?
Let me put it in chat.
Thank you. That will be even better. Hopefully Nightbot is nice to you. We'll see.
Hopefully. I think that's it.
Nightbot has decided to be cool. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
ttrpg.link. Awesome.
We love short links.
Yeah, grants are cool. I've only seen a couple games do that. What kind of inspired you to do a grant for Hell Whalers?
I mean, one of my ideas with generally like making games and having a business is that I want to give back to the community when I do stuff like this. Like I'm fine without making my living on games. I do day job stuff and I recognize that it'll never pay the bills all the way. So taking the extra money from my games and putting it back out into the community just feels cool. And it's reciprocal too, in the sense that like it encourages people to make content for, a game that I worked on and stuff. So there's some mutual benefit, but it's also like, it's fun to support the community and help people make their dreams come true.
Hell yeah. Let me actually want to. Oh, I did not mean to pin anyone's message. I'm sorry. How do I stop that? Unpin this message. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. I have a question for both of you. You can add a prize category to any RPG award show. What would you add? As plausible or unhinged as you want. Oh,
I rarely see best editing, but I feel like best editing really deserves highlights. But I don't think that's a standard category.
yeah, that is a good one. I would also like to see that. I feel like now I wind up in a situation that I often wind up in TTRPGs, which is like people are kind of expecting me here to be like, oh, the best game to fuck to, and it's like I could say that, but would 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 that is that where my heart is right now, or is that just like what I think people
You
are?
You are also a multifaceted human being with lots of myriad interests, I'm
I
sure.
am a
So,
multifaceted human being with myriad interests, and I think I would. What would I want to say? I think. Hmm. I think I would really want to see something that's like like I know this is like so specific, but like an award that's for like actively evolving and like developing an existing system. Like best hack, but like kind of oriented towards hacks that are actually like interesting and aren't just like what if I did this pastiche in this engine, you know?
right, like an innovation on existing systems and stuff.
Yeah, like I think about like Hawk Moth as a very good PBTA hack, or
Right.
gosh, I'm trying to think of equivalents for BOB. There's almost certainly some.
I
Uh,
mean, Hellwhalers is based at a BLB. Not that I would toot my own horn that way, but you know.
I'll toot your horn. I haven't seen it, but I'm willing to say it's sight unseen. But yeah, I just feel like that specific area is like something that I'm really interested in as a designer. Is I think, hmm, I think there was a period from about 2013 to maybe 2020. I think we're kind of still in that period, but I think people are getting a little sick of it. Of just like, my TTRPG is this engine, usually PBTA, sometimes
Mhm.
Force in the Dark, and the thing that I like. And I'm going to put the thing that I like into this engine, and I'm going to change nothing else. And like, I've seen a lot of really interesting revisions and additions and like mixes of existing engines recently, and I don't know. I'd like to see like that
Right.
encouraged because I think that's where like um I
It's
don't
kind of
know.
fascinating that seems so antithetical to what the bakers were doing with PBTA because they designed with such intention.
Yeah, yeah, that's real. Uh, yeah, there is. It is kind of interesting how like PBTA has such a philosophical like through line and like like series of philosophical like axioms like tenets, and then
Mhm.
it was kind of seen as like a generic a generic option by a lot of folks, and it's weird.
Right. But a lot of that design was very intentional from how I understand it, which is really
Yeah,
fascinating.
the indie version of
People
Bad
just took it
D20
as a good
licensed.
system.
Yeah, the
True,
indie
true.
version of Bad D20 licensed games, absolutely true. Yeah, and I won't name any names, but Monster of the Week, Scum and Villainy. Uh,
Not naming names.
Not naming. No, I'm not naming any names. I'm just just throwing a couple games out there. I'm just naming a couple names. It's not. This isn't naming names. This is just saying games that exist. I'm not saying that these are the games that I'm talking about. I'm just saying that these games, you can play these games and you can download them on itch still, because they're not interesting and they don't have incest in them. Anyways, Lilith is amused by my joke. I'll name names. I was so bummed out about Adventure Time and Night Vale being G20 things. Oh my god, the fucking Adventure Time. That shit makes me so pissed off.
You could do
Yeah.
so well with something else, right?
Yeah, they should have let me design the Adventure Time TTRPG. I would have put my whole pussy into that. Night Vale D20. I didn't know about this. There's a Night Vale D20. That's crazy. That
It's like the
feels
Dark
like
Souls D20. It's like any of those D20 hacks are so bad
yeah.
with an IP.
There's also the fucking Fallout 2D20, which I've heard is like complete fucking ass. Like the complete
Right.
dog shit.
The Modifus system or whatever.
Yeah, Modiphius is just
Yeah.
so weak. All right. Any other questions from folks? We're taking all takers. Um, Dice. How do you what are I I made a post recently in my like actually relatively short unhinged opinions thread because I don't have that many unhinged opinions. Um,
Mhm.
where I was like, I don't like the D20. I hate the way it weighs. Uh, Like
Right.
not physically, but like like the
It's so
results.
swingy. It's
Yeah.
ridiculously swingy.
What are your dice opinions? Where do you fall on like? I mean, obviously they all have their own
uh,
utilities, but like, what are your?
right. Lately, I've been a D12 sicko.
Oh, D12s are fun.
D12 sicko is like my current brainworm because D12 is such a fun number. Like 12 is good. It's divisible by 3, 4, 6, and 2. It's even. It's can do all sorts of fun tricks with that. Like rolling it as different dice sizes based on division is really fascinating.
Oh yeah,
So like it's functionally having a D3, a D4, a D6, a D2 all in one, and a D12.
that is interesting. I hadn't really ever considered that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been really into that idea. Uh, my homoerotic queer horror game is using it right now, and I'm stoked about that.
Fuck yeah. People are sleeping on the D14, 16, and 18. Can you explain
I
what
will
you mean by that?
say,
What? You will not
I
explain.
oh okay. I do have a game that uses non-Euclidean dice, and I think that, or I guess Euclidean dice, but I think it's a fun way to do it. But it's non-real dice sizes.
Okay, that's fun.
But yeah, it uses like factored dice, so you can roll like D14s, D17s, or whatever.
Hell yeah. Love a die. Uh, I, a D100 can be any die you want. You just have to ignore the results that aren't within the range. Is that true? Is
Yeah,
it what I just said true?
it is. You can just play with horse blinders on.
What was that?
If you don't mind reading.
Yeah, because it doesn't affect the luck at all. Because you're still when it hits any of those, it's still going to be the same,
Yeah,
right?
you need a lot of rerolls. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm right. I'm just kidding. I think it's weird that the standard set of dice is such a big gap between 12 and 20. True. Where's the fucking D13? Um, actually, hang on. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about the computers. You can do whatever you want on it. Um, let me. This might be like. Did I do another fucking Dovecote or I fucking took out Oh, whoa. Oh, right. Okay. Where's Sophie's dice? We're doing this. Someone ask a question while I get this set up. Because I do want to do a bit.
How do you feel about cards and tokens?
How do you feel about cards and tokens? Okay, here's my thing about tokens. I really like them. I think there's an, I think, I think the fact that they're flippable is underutilized.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah, a two-sided face is really fascinating as a token. I hadn't considered that. That's really cool.
yeah, because I've been using it in Fuck Me Like I'm Stupid,
Mm.
which is
hmm
my BOB, but I added a bunch of mechanics onto it. You can tell that I'm a little biased in that regard. Um, but yeah, like I really like the potential like implications of receiving a token in a different state. That's not just like it's not
Right.
just did you receive it or did you not, or did you receive it or did you throw it away. It is did you receive it in this state? Did you throw it away in this state? Like for example, in Fuck Me Like I'm Stupid, the idea is that your head stuff is all like the person you were, and your tail stuff is all like the bimbo that you're being turned into. Um,
Nice.
okay, so my hot take is that tokens aren't inherently flippable, but coins are. Lilith is correct. That is true. You do make a good point. Um, hang on, I wanna. How do I like just grab a die? I just wanna collect like a normal dice from the game. I have a dice application open, and I'm trying to remember how you even like use it. Uh, Here we go, example dice. Hang on, I gotta put it on the shroom too. Is this gonna work? Let me just fucking throw something. There we go. That's what that's
Oh,
what we want.
cool.
Yeah. Okay.
We
Cool.
love that.
All right. So I think if I go, also we have the 7-part pack dice. I don't know if these are
Oh,
still the
nice.
same, but we did a
Yeah.
7-part pack AP on the channel with Jay a while back. Let me,
Awesome. I'm
yeah,
so enamored with the idea of 7-part pack, but it's logistically so hard to put together.
I love 7-part pack. It's so cool. All
I've
right.
been reading it nonstop and I want it, but I can't put together a game yet.
Yeah, real. This is a D18.
Ooh.
So there you go. For the perverts. I don't know how this works, but it's pretty awesome.
I love that. That is great.
Yeah. And then what else do they have?
I pretty frequently use card suits as like D13s with the ace
Okay.
through king.
That makes sense actually. Yeah, because I do think cards have a lot of potential for luck, and they're kind of swaggy. You know,
Yeah, they're fun.
feels like you're at the fucking casino.
Right.
So this is a D30.
Nice.
Rolling my damn D30 and pissing everyone off. All right, that's enough. That's enough dice. Um, 7-part pack's wizard madness is a fever dream, and an act of hubris to approach. Yes, let's yes, let us aspire to hubris. I agree. I think I don't know, as someone who's kind of seen Jay in the heat of that, and like seen Jay really like fucking grinding that game out. Um, there is both in the playing and the making of that game a certain hubris.
I feel like
I'm yeah.
the era of minimalism has had its time and we need more maximalist stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree as the I don't know if you know anything about Sapphic World, but it's really it's a fucking it's too much.
I just started reading it a few days ago, like in earnest. I've skimmed it
Oh hell
before.
yeah. Let me actually because I would love to send you the compiled edition instead of
Oh yeah.
the big fucking mess edition. um, because I think you might enjoy that more. It's a little bit more concise, and there's some newer rules that I
Oh,
think
that'd be great. Very
are
cool.
a lot more interesting. I've been I've been fucking the Dovecote is an apparatus through which I send people the updated version of Sapphic World.
Well, perfect.
Yeah. Uh, hell yeah. All right. Um.
I'm like aspiring to rewrite my prompts based on your intimacy mechanics from Sophic World, your prompts
Oh
stuff.
hell yeah. I'm so glad. Yeah.
But it inspired me to rework all my prompts on my queer horror game, and it sucks to rewrite prompts because I put so much time into them the first time, but I need to.
Yeah. It's the version of the game where it's like what do you call it? My brain is not working today. Like all the things that are like my affection is X, Y, and Z or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was very happy with that. That also took a lot of like,
yeah.
finding out because
When I started reading those, I was like, oh, I need to read my prompts to be this good.
thank you. Yeah, I started out. It's kind of interesting. Speaking of the bakers, because we were just talking about them earlier. Um,
Mhm.
those prompts started out in their early life as the like very similar to what's the name of that? To firebrands, like very like
Yeah,
I touch you on this. I do X, I do Y, and I kind
right.
of wanted them to be different. I wanted a
Yeah,
different vibe for them, and it kind of worked
yeah.
out.
The structure is very Baker-esque in how you structure them, but it's definitely got some unique swag to it, which is cool.
Yeah, thank you. Pythagorean solids have shackled our dice-size imagination. D16. A friend of mine had a D26. Each face was a letter from the English alphabet.
I
Cool.
love that.
I think that should be. Hey, I think Jay needs to put that in 7-part pact. I think it needs to be part of 7-part pact.
There should be
Uh,
a spellomancer.
yeah, like you just roll a fucking D26.
Spell
Letter
words,
dice.
right?
Yeah, and just fucking, you gotta spell words, and then the words happen. Um, anyways, I've sent documents.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, hell yeah. Okay. Does anyone have any more questions? I think this is gonna be the last call. Lilith, do you have any questions for me or Moss?
Questions?
Yeah, do you have questions?
Um, uh, favorite Minecraft mod?
Favorite Minecraft mod?
I never got into Minecraft, but can I propose a hypothetical mod that I'd be a
Yeah.
fan of?
Please do propose a hypothetical mod that you'd be a fan of. Thank you.
I was getting cart before the horse because I don't know one yet, but I'll think of one for just this question's purposes.
Cool.
How about a mod where everything is circles instead of cubes? I don't know.
Let's see if that exists. Minecraft Spheres mod? I don't even
Spheres
know.
mod, yeah. Spherecraft.
Minecraft. It appears that someone has made a video called Minecraft, but
Oh.
every block is a sphere.
Okay, I'll check that out.
Yeah. This looks terrible. This looks absolutely. They fucked it up badly. Here, I'm gonna send this in the chat. I'm not gonna show this on stream, but
Oh boy.
if you want to
Yeah,
see a video
there's-
where every Minecraft block is a fucking sphere.
Horrifying, thank you.
I really like the furnace because it's just like the furnace texture, but it's like repeated over a sphere. This is really. It looks so laggy too. Okay.
Oh, I'm sure it would be.
I don't know what this guy's voice sounds like. If he's annoying, I'm sorry. If he's racist, I'm sorry. Yeah. Anyways. Okay. All right. Well, do you have anything else that you'd like to direct folks towards?
I guess while we're talking sicko dice sizes, I do want to point out, like I said, Infinite Reverie, one of my games, uses some really fun dice mechanics that people should check out.
Hell yeah. Invest in that.
Infinite Reverie is very good, but it's early Ashcanish. Also, the layout's not finished, but we're gonna revamp that at some point. I'm going through a lot of my backlog this year and trying to retouch it up. But yeah, I definitely recommend that one if you like sicko dice sizes, because we use some really fun dice math. I think the comments on the itch page, someone was like stoked about it too. It was great.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, that's the only plug I can think of because it was on my mind. Otherwise, yeah, I'm just, chilling.
Badass. I'm going to. I gotta raid someone. I want to raid Sophie Baby. She's playing XCOM 2. Go say hi. Yeah, everyone have a great night. Let me actually, before I do that, who's next week? Fingers crossed, barring any changes, let's say. Next week is Sandro AD, which will be cool. Good
Nice.
good guest. That'll be a fun one. All right.
Also, thank you so much for having me on. It's been a pleasure. It's been super fun.
Yeah, thank you so much for being on. This was a fucking blast. I would gladly have you on again. All right.
Hell yeah. Good chatting it up.
Yeah. Bye everyone.
Remember, if you don't like what you see, you can change it. It's up to you, really. Goodbye, good luck. Fans!